Welcome back, everybody, to another deep dive. And today we're diving into a story called An Hour in the Rain.
Ooh, intriguing title.
Yeah, it is. I was thinking about this just before we got started here today, how so much of our lives feels like it comes down to chance encounters, just being at the right place at the right time.
Absolutely, bumping into someone who ends up changing your whole perspective.
Yeah, exactly. Or, just missing that train that could have, taken you to, I don't know, who knows where.
It makes me think about all those tiny decisions we make each day
Right.
that lead us down one path or another.
That's exactly what the story explores. It's all about these two strangers, Elena and Liam, who find themselves seeking shelter from a sudden downpour.
Oh, I love a good rain-soaked meet cute.
Right, this one's a classic Elena's umbrella, flips inside out, of course, and
Yeah.
she's just drenched and frustrated.
Happens to the best of us.
And she bumps right into Liam.
So not the most graceful first impression.
Not exactly, but that's just the beginning.
Okay, so spilled coffee, awkward apologies. What happens next?
Well, her sketchbook falls open.
Oh, no.
And it reveals a portrait of a man who looks a lot like Liam.
Oh, that's wild.
Right, talk about an icebreaker.
Yeah, I'd be speechless, I think.
Liam calls it uncanny, and Elena's a little embarrassed.
Understandably so.
But the rain just keeps coming down, trapping them under this cafe awning.
So they're forced to make conversation.
Pretty much. They discover they both have this deep love for classic literature, especially Jane Austen.
Okay, so common ground established.
Yeah, and they're both artists in their own way. Elena's a visual artist. Liam's a writer.
I see a spark starting to ignite.
For sure, and Liam's captivated by Elena's work. He asks to see more.
Makes you wonder what he's really drawn to. Is it the art itself or something more?
That's a good question, and I think the story leaves it open to interpretation.
Which is what good stories do. Yeah.
Exactly. So they decide to wait out the rain inside the cafe.
Over steaming lattes, I hope.
Of course, and their conversation gets deeper.
This is where the real connection starts to form.
Yeah, Liam talks about wanting to write this timeless love story.
Ambitious.
But he also admits he's kind of jaded about love itself.
The classic cynical writer trope.
Right. Elena, on the other hand, she's all about capturing those, sparks of beauty and connection in her art.
So their views on love are pretty different.
Totally different. Yet they're both searching for something meaningful.
Okay, so we've got this interesting dynamic developing here.
Yeah, and it gets even more complicated when Elena gets a call from her ex-boyfriend.
Talk about bad timing.
Seriously, you can just feel the tension as she tries to deal with this, blast from the past.
It's like that moment when reality comes crashing in, right?
Right. The rain might have brought them together, but now real life is intruding.
It makes you think about how fragile these chance encounters can be.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So as the rain starts to ease up, Liam suggests they take a walk.
That's sweet, giving her space to process everything.
Yeah, and it's like this shift in their relationship, They're not just strangers anymore, they're companions.
Walking side by side through the city streets.
Exactly. And they leave the cafe and head out into the damp streets, but you can tell Elena's still distracted.
That phone call's still weighing on her mind.
Yeah, her phone keeps buzzing, a constant reminder of the situation with her ex.
I hate when exes try to come back into the picture.
Right. Liam finally asks her if she's okay, and she admits that her ex wants to get back
Oh
together.
boy, so she's at a crossroads.
Yeah, unsure if she can trust him again.
It's such a relatable dilemma, right? Like, do you hold on to the familiar or take a chance on something new?
Exactly. And Liam being, Liam, he tries to lighten the mood by saying her situation sounds like something straight out of a novel.
Oh, typical writer, always looking for inspiration.
Right, but Elena's not laughing. She's genuinely struggling.
This is where the stakes get higher.
Yeah. And she turns to Liam and asks him a really interesting question.
What's that?
What would you write next, then?
Ooh, that's deep. She's looking for his guidance.
Exactly. And for the first time, Liam feels this surge of inspiration.
The muse has struck?
He tells her simply and powerfully, I'd write that she chooses herself first.
Powerful words and so true.
Right. It's about recognizing your worth and making choices that align with that.
It's about self-love and empowerment.
Absolutely. And as they're talking, they arrive at a park, and there's this street musician playing this melancholic tune.
Setting the mood.
Yeah, it's like the soundtrack to their emotional journey.
The author's really good at using these sensory details to draw you into the story.
For sure. And then in this moment, surrounded by the sounds of the city and this music, Liam does something unexpected.
Okay, I'm on the edge of my seat.
He asks Elena to dance.
Whoa, bold move. I mean, in the middle of a park with a street musician playing. It's pretty romantic.
Yeah, it's definitely a risk, putting yourself out there like that.
Totally. And I'm curious, what do you think is going through Elena's mind at this point?
Well, I think she's surprised, but also kind of intrigued by Liam's boldness,
Yeah, she doesn't seem like the type to just go along with anything.
Exactly. She's cautious, but she's also open to new experiences.
So what does she say?
She agrees to dance. They start swaying a little awkwardly at first,
Ah, the classic first dance jitters.
But then they find their rhythm, and it's just this beautiful moment of connection.
It's like they're forgetting about everything else. The rain, the ex-boyfriend, the whole world just fades away.
Exactly. It's just them and the music.
And it makes me think about how dance can be this powerful form of communication.
Yeah, it's like you're speaking a different language,
Absolutely. A language of movement and emotion.
Right. You can express so much without saying a word.
And it can create this incredible sense of intimacy.
For sure. Have you ever had one of those moments where you just felt totally connected to someone through dance?
Oh yeah, definitely. There's this one time I was at this wedding and I danced with this guy I barely knew, but we just clicked, It was like we were moving as one. Yeah, it was magical. And then the song ended and we both kind of snapped back to reality.
It's like a spell gets broken.
Yeah, exactly. But the memory of that dance stayed with me.
I bet. So, in the story, the dance becomes this metaphor for Elena and Liam's relationship, right?
How so?
Well, they're both a little hesitant at first, just like with the dancing. But as they find their rhythm, they start to move together in sync.
Mirroring the growing connection between them.
Yeah, and the rain has pretty much stopped now, and the story describes the sky as being bathed in these soft twilight colors.
Oh, that's beautiful.
It's like the weather's reflecting their emotional journey,
Yeah, it's like a fresh start.
Right. And as they reach the edge of the park, Liam hesitates for a second.
What's he thinking?
I think he's trying to figure out how to say what he wants to say.
Oh, okay. This is getting good.
And then he just blurts it out.
Yeah.
He asks Elena if he can write her story.
Whoa, he's really putting himself out there.
Yeah, it's a big ask. I mean, he's basically asking to share her life with the world.
Do you think he's just looking for inspiration, or is there something more to it?
I think it's a little bit of both. He's been struggling to find his next big idea.
Yeah, he mentioned that earlier.
And then he meets Elena, and it's like she's awakened something in him.
Like she's his muse.
Exactly. But I also think he's genuinely drawn to her,
So what does Elena say?
Well, she's true to her playful nature, and she teases him a little.
How does she tease him?
She says he can write a chapter, but not the whole story.
Okay, that's cute.
Yeah.
Huh.
It's her way of saying she's intrigued, but she's not ready to give him everything just yet.
She's keeping on his toes.
Exactly. And then as Elena walks away, Liam realizes something.
What is it?
She left her sketchbook on the bench.
Oh no, that's her most prized possession.
I know. He grabs it and runs after her, catching up to her just as the rain stops completely.
So the timing is perfect.
Yeah, the sky is clear now, symbolizing this new sense of clarity and possibility.
The author's really playing with the weather imagery here.
For sure. And as Elena turns to take her sketchbook, Liam asks her a question that changes everything.
What does he ask?
What if this isn't just a coincidence?
Whoa, that's a loaded question.
Yeah, he's not just talking about bumping into each other or even looking like the man in her drawing.
It's deeper than that.
Yeah, he's acknowledging this undeniable connection between them.
This spark that's ignited in just an hour.
Exactly. And Elena, with a playful smile, replies, "Then I guess you've got your love story."
Oh, wow, what an ending. It's so open-ended and full of possibility.
Right. It leaves you wondering what happens next. Do they fall in love? Does he actually write her story?
It's like the author's inviting us to imagine our own ending.
Exactly. And that's one of the things I love about this story. It stays with you long after you finish reading it.
It makes you think about all the chance encounters in your own life and wonder, what if?
Yeah. What if we had taken that chance or said hello to that stranger?
Or just think a little longer in the rain.
Exactly. So before we wrap up, I want to talk about the bigger themes here.
Yeah, let's dive into that.
This whole idea of chance versus choice. It's woven throughout the story.
Right, like, is their meeting just a coincidence, or is there something more at play?
Exactly. What do you think, does the story ultimately lean more towards fate or free will?
You know what really gets me about the ending? It's that, like, open-endedness,
Right, you don't know for sure what happens to Elena and Liam.
Exactly. Does he write her story? Do they actually fall in love?
It's up to the reader to decide.
And that makes it so much more powerful in a way.
I agree. It's like the author's inviting us to become part of the story.
Exactly. But we get to write the next chapter.
And I think that's what makes this story so thought-provoking. It stays with you long after you've finished reading it.
Totally. It makes you think about all the chance encounters in your own life.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, like what if we had said yes to that date or taken that trip?
Or just struck up a conversation with that stranger at the coffee shop.
Right. It makes you realize that every interaction has the potential to change your life.
And that sometimes the most unexpected moments can lead to the most amazing things.
Exactly. So going back to the whole chance versus choice thing.
Yeah, I've been thinking about that a lot.
Me too. It's like this constant push and pull between fate and free will.
Right. Like, on the one hand, there are all these things that are outside of our control.
Yeah, like the rain that brought Elena and Liam together.
Or the fact that they just happen to be at the same cafe at the same time.
Right. But then there are all the choices they make along the way.
Like choosing to talk to each other.
Yeah.
Choosing to go for that walk.
Choosing to dance in the park.
Exactly.
Right.
And those choices are what ultimately shape their story.
So it's not just about being in the right place at the right time.
It's about recognizing those opportunities when they come along and having the courage to seize them.
And I think that's a really powerful message.
Me too. It's a reminder that we have more control over our lives than we sometimes think.
And that we shouldn't be afraid to take chances and step outside of our comfort zones.
Because you never know what amazing things might happen.
Couldn't have said it better myself. So as we wrap up our deep dive into An Hour in the Rain.
Yeah.
What's your biggest takeaway?
I think for me, it's the importance of staying open to the unexpected, you know?
Like embracing those chance encounters and seeing where they lead?
Exactly. Because even a fleeting moment can have a lasting impact.
Absolutely. Well said. Well, it's been a pleasure diving into this story with you.
Likewise.
And to everyone listening out there, we hope this deep dive has inspired you to appreciate the power of chance encounters and to never underestimate the magic of a rainy day.
Here.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep connecting, and keep those umbrellas handy.